Okay, welcome to Photoshop Lesson 1.2. We're going to cover a couple of things in today's lesson, including how to save and load a selection, how to change the foreground and background colors, how to add a foreground and background color to a selection, steps to hide selection edges. We're going to start with saving and loading a selection. Okay, so in this photo I've already made a selection of the sky area. And I want to save this selection because I don't want to have to keep coming back and making the selection again and again. So I can do this one of two ways. I can either come up to my drop down menus up top and go to select, save selection at the bottom. Or I can come over to my channels panel, which is right next to your layers panel, and I can go to the bottom and click the square that has a little circle in it, and if you hover it tells you what the item is, and I click that one time and there it is. Now if I select that alpha 1 channel, it's going to automatically save as alpha 1 this way. If I click up here to select save selection, it will give me the option of naming it. So but if I click that channel, it's going to show me what is selected in white and what is not selected in black. But I'm going to click back on my RGB channel to show the actual photo. Now if I want to, I can deselect or Control D or go to select, deselect, whichever you want to do. And if I want to select that again, I can either do one of two things. I can load the selection by going Control, holding my Control key and clicking on that channel, or I can select load selection, and I'm going to choose that alpha 1 channel or whatever you named it, and it was a new selection. I'm going to click OK and it will again select that area. Now let's come over to our foreground and background colors. In the toolbox you can see that the foreground and background colors are right here. I can switch between black and white, which is the default colors. So if I want my foreground to be white, I can just switch with the arrow up here. Once I change these colors, I'm going to show you that in just a second, I could just click this box here and go back to my default colors. Now I want to change this, so I'm going to double click on that foreground color. Automatically my cursor changes to the ink dropper tool. Now once I come into this, I can choose whatever I want and click OK. Now I'm going to go and double click on that background color, but this time I'm going to notice how my eyedropper tool is. That's because now I can choose a color from the actual photo and click OK, and now I'm going to switch those because I want to actually use that color there. So I'm going to switch that to my foreground color. Now, how do I fill my selection with my foreground or background color? Well, I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and then I'm going to choose whatever I want. I can choose foreground or background. In this case, since I switched it to foreground, I can choose foreground. I can also go to Color, it'll let me choose, and click OK. And there you go. It changes all of that to that one color. Now, let me give you a couple of steps to hide a selection edge, because you may have, sometimes you need to see your edges more clearly because you need to make sure that you've selected exactly as you need to, otherwise your work looks sloppy. If you need to do that, you can do one or two things. You can either choose the inverse by going to select inverse, and it will choose everything else. That way it outlines what your area, you can see the edges of your area that you've selected, and you can of course blow your photo up with Control++ and take it back down with -- to see how well you did with your selection. If you want to go back to your selection, you can either again go to back to inverse, or you can go and load your selection through the channels panel or through loading selections through the select drop down menu. One other way I can hide my edges, I can go to View, Extras, or press Control H, View, Extras, or Control H, and it will hide that so I can see what's going on there. I'm going to Control and select my area again.